Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be in the world. Hello, and how are you? This may be a little bit longer than 5 minutes. I don't want to put a time limit on it, but I don't want to exceed 10 minutes because I know if you're like me, after so long, I can only listen or hear anything at a lengthy amount of time unless it grabs me or really catch my attention. But what I want to talk about is I know a lot of people struggle with when things happen. And we always want to fall to the why and why would God. This is solely dedicated to God, to source energy, to spirit, to whomever and however you may see God. When things happen that are not good, we are sad, we are hurt, we're frustrated because we don't understand as to why God would let this happen. Which is one of the reasons why I love Job. And if you haven't read Job, go and read why God allowed Job to go through so many things. And I think it's important to understand that God will allow. That is my topic today, is why God allowed things to happen to good people, not so good people, and how it can feel downright hurtful when you see other people having things that has not been good, and you've been faithful, you've been kind, you've done all the fruits of the Spirit that you can think of over and over, but still yet that thing that you're trying to accomplish, it seems so far away from you. And I'm sorry if there's some tears here today because I had a conversation with someone. I'm always having conversations. And it's hard to explain to someone who's trying to know God or trying to understand how God works. I can tell you everything about God, but what I can tell you is that I can always go back to the little child's prayer, God is good, God is great. And I've always tried to apply that if it ain't good, it's not God. If something is pulling you to do something that you know is not right, sit with that for a while and ask God for an answer. Sometimes God answers, sometimes you just know that it's just not the right thing to do. But getting back on track of why God allowed things to happen, I've come to the conclusion that when God allowed things to happen to us, He wants to use that something to show you who He is if you're willing to allow God, if you're willing to trust God, if you're willing to believe God, if you're willing to know that God would not have allowed this. I know this is cliche, and I know people have heard this so many times. If God allow it, He's going to help me through it. But literally, hear me, people, hear me. If God allowed it, He has a plan for your life. We ask God for so many things that we forget, but God does not forget. God remember your first request as a child, what you asked Him for. So all of this has been going into motion. So even when you change your mind and you ask God for something else, it's still in motion. So I just want to really just focus on God allowed things to happen to people, and our friends, our family. God take our friends, family members. I can tell you in the last 3 years, I had so many losses that I had to stop counting. But I knew that God had made no mistake. That's one thing I knew. He did not take those flowers so that they could die. He took those flowers that they would continue to bloom. But they just didn't live on earth anymore. So when He picked His flowers, you have to accept that He has cut that flower. And that flower no longer is going to have a root here on earth. But that doesn't mean the flower is not going to continue to bloom. I just want to help people who hurting, who's homeless, who's hungry, who's incarcerated, who's hospice. It's not a good feeling. It's just not a good feeling when you're hurting. When you're hurting, it seems like no one cares. It seems like no one is there. But I think I can wrap this up. I want you to know that when all else fails, call on God. Just call his name. However you see God, call his name. Just call his name. And I tend to say, Father, can you help me, please? I don't think there's anyone in the world right now that is not dealing with something. It may appear that they have it all the money, but all of us are hurting and continuously trying to heal from something. Whatever that something is, give it to God. No one can fix it but him anyway. And I say him, and I don't mean it as I see God as a him. I'm just conditioned to say him because that's just what we've always said. But God can be anything. No one has ever seen who that source energy may be. The moon, the stars. And I don't want to get into all of that. I just wanted to clean up because I'm not going to change the video just because I said him. I personally see God as a big nurturing woman, to be honest. A kind, loving, with this big, big, big heart that's just so big. And when I say big, I'm not talking about a body image. I don't body shame. I'm talking about big, hard, big energy, just explosive. It's just so huge that you couldn't even handle it all if it dropped just a little bit close to you. But I can tell you what it is when you're hurting. And I've watched God heal me through pain. I've watched God heal me through physical, mental, emotional, spiritual pain. And I know that I didn't do that on my own. So this big old lump sum of energy that comes to save us, it's real. And I'm going to say it again. Jesus is real. God is real. This is what I believe. There's nothing that I am doing or could have done or will be doing that I can do without calling on God. So if you're willing to learn about God, find someone to help you understand that when things happen in your life, and I'll go more into a lot of things about me, the reason why I know God is real, reason why I know that energy has been following me all the days of my life, the reason why I feel like I go through such hardships and so many different things that only I can describe, that if I told people they would think that, no way. But yeah, Amanda Goodman Berry has had so many trials and tribulations that I thought God forgot about me. There have been so many times I have asked God, where are you? Do you even hear me? Are you listening? He heard me. He still hears me. And I still cry out to God. Because sometimes the journey, it seems long and alone. It seems hard and there's no ending. And maybe there isn't until I leave Earth. But what I will continue to do is enforce that God is real. He's as real as he was back then as he is today. And we got to trust God when things unfold. We got to trust God when things hurt us. We got to trust God when we're going through hardship, when we're going through just pain. We got to trust that everything will be okay. And if you think about it, I want to end on this note. I want to end with this. How many things that you've gone through in your life that didn't feel good? it just hurt. It just felt unfair. It just felt like no one could hear you. And no one was listening. Even now, maybe even now, if you're going through this. But 2 years from now, it don't feel the same. You found a way to heal from it. Even if it's not completely healed, you've learned how to be okay. You think you did that? I'm going to leave that question with you. Yes, you do the work. And yes, you get the help that you need. Some of us do. But even without going to physically get therapy and get help from people, do you think you did that? Do you think you healed you? Do you think that what you have, you gave it to you? Yeah, you do the work, and God does back what you do. If you don't do nothing, that's true too. You will not see what you want. You can lay in the bed all day long and dream about it, but what are you doing to go get it? But when you move, God move with you. And if you just laying there, you just laying there. So to bring, I know I've said this to wrap it up, but it's just I have so much to say today. And I'm usually, when I'm away from work, I'm usually pretty quiet. Because I'm talking all the time. But I feel like I just needed to say this out loud. If you're willing to be carried, God will carry you. If you're willing to take that next step, take the first one. He'll take the second, the third, the fourth, and the fifth. You just got to trust that He's leading you and He's guiding you. If you're going through in your marriage, in your relationship, if it just doesn't feel right and you know it, trust God that He's going to get you through it. I don't know anyone that walks away from anything that it doesn't hurt. It hurts. Yes, it hurts. But God will take that hurt and turn it into the best I've ever heard. He'll heal it. Stop suffering yourself to make so many people in the world. It's okay to try to help people, but you're not going to save everybody. And it's taken me so long to understand that. I'm not going to heal everybody. I'm not going to help everybody. I'm not going to I'm one person. But if I can, I will try. If I could save this whole world, I would save it all. If I had the ideal way of what this world should look like, it would just be peace on earth. We would all see each other with no colors. We would have blinders on. All we would hear is just me talking. You wouldn't see that I'm a black woman. You would just hear that God has anointed me. And the gift. If people would, let me say this, if people would stop paying attention to the color of a person and pay attention to the gift and what they're bringing to you and what it is that you need from them, the reason why they're showing up in your life, it would save you from so much pain. It would. Trust God. I'm going to leave it with trust God. Trust God. I can't see Him. You can't see Him. But it is real. The Spirit is real. The source is real. The energy is real. God is so real. I'm a living witness that God is real. And as we carry on and do these videos, I will give you some things that I've gone through in my life that I haven't openly really shared with anyone. But I'm here. I'm here. I'm a living witness that what I look like at 54 years old, I'll be 55 in February, I shouldn't look like what I look like. I shouldn't even be standing here, sitting here. I shouldn't even be having this conversation. I wouldn't even be on this earth had it not been for God. He delivered me over and over and over and over, and still delivers me. So, in my closing, I want to close with, I shared a video of a young lady in tears of how she felt that God had chose her. And if this video should find her, I want her to know that I know what you feel like. When you choose God, it's one thing. But when God chooses you, when God chooses you, you're going to go through so much. People are going to dislike you. They're going to talk about you. You're going to lose friends. You're going to lose things that you don't even know why. But when God chooses you, so I want you to know, young lady, I didn't get your name, but I saw your video. And I immediately understood what you were going through, because when God chooses you, it's so much work. It's so much work. So this is why I'm saying to people, being chosen ain't always easy, because you got to go through people just talking about you for no reason. Just, oh my God, I can't even tell you it all in one setting. But I promise when I started this that I will always be so honest and transparent, but this ain't been easy. And I don't think it'll ever be easy. I think I just learned how to trust God, and I learned how to be comfortable, because I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, I'm a grandmother. So sometimes when I lay my head down at night, I'm so tired, I'm exhausted, because I've helped so many people during the day. And I just need God to help me. It's like I close my eyes and I wake up and I do it all over and all over and all over. But I've learned to accept that I have been chosen by God. Because what I look like, God helped me. What I feel like, God helped me. The things that I know without the gift of just knowing, God did that. So everything you see is because of God. So if you're out there and you feel alone, and you feel like there's no one who cares, I'll start with myself. I see you, I hear you, and I care. I absolutely care. I even care about my enemies, the ones that I know who would pray a totally opposite prayer against me. I pray that they be well. And this is when you know that God is with you. When you can wish people who wish you harm, hurt, danger, that you wish them well and you want the best for them, you're in the hands of God. And I can totally tell you there's no one on this earth that I can say I hate. I don't hate anything or anyone. I would never, ever, ever. I'm not built like that. I'm not built to hate. And being in a place where you always have to forgive, I just naturally forgive and go on, because it feels good to forgive. So if there's someone out there that I have hurt or harmed unintentionally, I'm sorry. But I know I didn't do anything in hate, because I've never ever hated anything. So with that, I'll leave you with the I love you. And wherever you are in the world, just breathe. Because I'm going to do some breathing when I get done with this. This is the longest video I think I've ever done. But I am grateful that you've taken the time, if you last 20 minutes and 43 seconds as I'm looking at it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for allowing me to express my voice. With that being said, may you be well, your families be well. I love you, and bye.